Alan, here we go. We finally got somebody to help us out and get us some beer. Oh,
Well, if they would have been in studio.
Well, all right. So
way to go, Chris.
If you follow this podcast, you know that we've been trying to get a sponsor. We're dying. We drink beer every time we get on. And today we're going to cheers with the beer that we're going to talk about today. But we said, you know what? Great angle. We got a guy here local. We're going to get him in, bring him into the studio, and we're going to get him to schlep us some beer, man.
And maybe some swag.
And some swag. And you know what he did? He pulled the old, hey guys, can't make it.
I'm really busy.
We're like, oh no. So I'm Catholic, and Alan grew up the son of a minister, so we love to lay guilt on people. So we're hoping that we just saturated you with a whole lot of shit and guilt to go, you know what, guys? You gotta give me some beer, bro. Huh?
I gotta get you some beer up there, and I love a good guilt trip. That is a family trait that I come from. We call it the Kiesler guilt. That's from my dad's side of the family. So guilt is something that our family does well.
Nice. All right, everybody. We have Jake Sapp on from Peach State Light. We're saying cheers to Peach State. If you watch it on YouTube, you're catching it. Peach State Light is the unofficial beer of Georgia. Great tagline. We're going to jump into that because that's a huge marketing thing, but not yet. And crack it. Let's go. Let's drink a little bit.
Have I told you how much I love beer? I mean, I really like beer.
So we drink a lot of beer. And Alan is originally from the Portland area, which he is the ambassador of. That was the craft brew beginning.
Yeah.
See? And he agrees.
Of course he agrees, because it's truth.
And we have West Coast. They were doing it. They were doing the beer and the.
And I obviously must like beer too, because now I'm on gout medication.
Yes, you are. He went and got more beer. And he's like, I can take a pill for this.
Don't worry about that. I'm good. My collegial lifestyle keeps going. So we do drink a lot of beer. We have drank this beer.
And it was my son. So I don't know what your target demographic is, but it was my 27-year-old son who's like, hey, Dad, have you checked out this Peach State Light? It's pretty good.
Yeah, your son is right in the demo. I would say our demo, though, is 21.
Gotta say that 21,
and then all the way up though. I mean,
unless you're in Europe.
That's right. When we make to Europe, we'll be 18. But I have found that it resonates with a lot of guys, some girls, but a lot of guys really just in that demographic of it's more of an interest. I'm really tracking more of what people's interests are rather than what their age is. So it's usually guys who want to watch the football game. They want to go hit the golf course. They're the guys that we want to hang out with. So
I got to say, it's really surprisingly good. And I don't mean that as a backhanded compliment.
Sure.
But when I think of light beer, I think, okay, it's got to be at 34 degrees and outside needs to be 110 for me to like it. I got to be on a golf course and drink 8 gallons. This is a good beer. I mean, this is a good beer.
So are we doing the review right now, right in front of Jake without knowing?
Open it.
Oh, I've already drank some of it, so I'm gonna drink some more because I have a pill for that. So, all right, give us your review.
Well, so what I want to ask though is what makes it light? Because I mean, it does not taste like a light beer.
Yeah, no.
How many calories am I drinking in this tall boy?
You're drinking We're sitting right about between probably 110 calorie wise.
Really?
Yeah. Come on now. We're only 19 over, right?
So this is speaking to Chris because he's how overweight are you?
I'm actually in the obese category.
You're obese,
but if I lose 10 pounds, I'll be solidly overweight.
So Peach State Light could be part of your health regimen to just get solidly overweight.
Right. A Bud Light might be 99 calories or so, but if you just do a couple of these, a couple of calisthenics, and
he's waving his arms.
I'm waving my arms too. I got it. That's what I'm going to start doing.
Drop your 10 calories. Now we're even.
Right. I'm back in. I'm going to be solidly overweight soon. Don't worry.
What's the gravity on this?
4.2.
Man.
Yeah. So Alan, so in terms of reviewing, that sucked. But anyway,
no. I wanted.
I liked it. It felt like a full-bodied lager beer, right?
Yeah, it actually has some body. It really does.
I liked it a lot, and I will not give the backhanded compliment. I've had it, and we did it before you came on. I was like, wow, this is good. This is a beer. This is a beer I would drink because, for me, if I'm drinking light beer, I like Amstel.
Sure.
Because it's got a little bit of taste to it.
Yep.
Miller Lite, if it's 110 degrees and I'm at the racetrack, good wrench hat, go
Yep.
NASCAR. That I'll drink light beer there, but other than that, no, I like the full on. Give me the fatty beer. That's why.
And when I look at Jake's story, I guess you traveled around the country and you were kind of seeing what the local beer was everywhere you go. Chris is from the Midwest. I went to college in the Midwest, and there's a lot of really old breweries that make some pretty skanky beer, but everybody loves it locally. They don't have this kind of flavor.
Right.
So, so what I usually do when I go to a bar, like a craft bar anywhere, I start with the light beer, see where it's going to go, and then move my way up to
tequila.
That was last night.
Oh.
Never start with 3 tequila shots. I am dragging ass, but don't worry, the beer's bringing me back.
How big of a marketing buy did you make?
Right back in it.
I am feeling it. Actually, this is medicinal. Right. I think this has medicinal properties. I'm saying it right now on the podcast.
You're getting lighter and more sober the more you drink it.
As this gets out there, when this goes out in podcast world and people start listening to this, they're going, "Oh my God, you can heal your shit with this." I'm talking Nature the Cure. Follow them. Ginger, tag root, a tail root, whatever, and then Peach State Light.
Peach State Light, you'll be right back on the horse.
All right, Jack. Jack. We're talking way too much about us, and we're too much yik-yakking about what we're doing. So, how the hell did you start this?
Yeah, thanks. That's a good question. It started as just an idea. You kind of alluded to it. I took a big road trip in 2020, kind of across the whole country. I was in a Ram 1500 with a camper shell that makes me kind of look like a dog catcher. My dog was with me. I was camping in the back of it. My wife met me for some of it. But I was really seeing the country by vehicle, and I was stopping by, and I loved drinking the local light beer. I grew up, my favorite beer ever was Miller Lite. I just love the ease of it, the drinkability, the crushability, because when I drink beer, I usually am drinking more than one. But then I loved the point of these local light beers because it's a lot of times it's that ease and drinkability, but there's something unique about it, and there's a talking point with the locals. And so I come back to Georgia. I kind of sit on it for a little while. I transition careers. I leave a nonprofit that I'd worked at for about 8 years in Watkinsville, Georgia, as a program director for an organization called Extra Special People. And so we serve children and adults with developmental disabilities. And that was a great, first 8 years out of college. That was a great career for me.
Well done. Yeah. Well done. Yeah, that's great.
And it really, I think it really gave me a great appreciation for community and community building. And so I moved over to a family business. We have a 50-year-old body shop. So my grandfather kind of took our family firmly into the middle class when he started a small business in 1972. And so we're on the north end of Athens, and we repair cars, and we do quality work, and we have a great reputation in the neighborhood and in the community. But with that, I was working with my dad and my uncle, and I had a little more leeway in my work schedule than I had before. And so that idea of this local light lager came flooding back to me. And I don't have a ton of resources to make that happen. I've never brewed beer. I don't own a brewery. I don't know how to brew beer, but I know what good beer tastes like, and I know how to drink good beer. And so
that sounds like as we talk to all of our entrepreneurs out there, that's the absolute recipe for failure. Okay. So I had no idea how to do it. Don't even know what I'm doing. Going to get into it, but I don't have any resources. I have no money, but I like beer. All right. Well, continue.
But the thing he has in common with all the entrepreneurs is he's got balls.
Hell yeah. Well, we're getting into that.
Yeah.
Oh, they're dropping. Right. They're dropping big.
Balls and resources. And so luckily,
two balls.
My college roommate, his name's Aaron Biscus. He's my partner in this. Aaron is the operating partner at Steelfire Brewing in Suwanee, Georgia.
That's just up the road from us. Good.
Right.
Have you been to that brewery?
I have not been to that brewery, but I've been to their. They do a good job giving back to the community. I'm I've been to one of their golf events.
No, it's a great brewery. They do a good job. It's in an old fire station, and the only thing that kind of weirds me out is you park at the police station.
Yeah, it makes it a little sketchy.
Yeah, like are they gonna follow? Just follow me home?
Well, they're definitely not taking your tag down.
You're right.
You're getting nailed, bro. All right. So all right. So Aaron Biscuits, he was your roommate in college?
Roommate in college. So he does that full time. It's a great operating brewery. It's pretty typical for what you're seeing in this region as far as craft breweries go. I mean, they have a ton of foot traffic. Their tap room crushes it in
Yes, they
volume
do.
of sales. You never go and it's not crowded. It's always slammed. They're huge a part of the community. Like you said, you've been to their golf tournament. They're raising money. They're great community partners, and they're a great community establishment for the Swanee, Georgia area. So I come to him with the idea, and I said, Aaron, I love what you're doing, but I want to make a beer that has nothing to do with that, and I don't want to get into that game. I don't want to start a brewery. I want to start a beer that goes straight to distribution. And I think you have the resources to help make that happen. And originally I gave him the idea and he said, no, it doesn't really make sense to me. I don't get it. Said, okay.
All right. So I don't know what I'm doing. I did this. I go to my roommate. I go to my roommate from college and I go, hey, dude, you're doing this. You're successful. I'm going to do this. And he goes, no, it doesn't make sense. All right. Continue on, Mr. Balls.
So that doesn't do anything except for kind of light a fire under my seat. And I got to prove, now I got to prove somebody I care about. I got to prove them wrong. And, this is one of the guys I golf with all the time. This is I was in his wedding. We have a brotherly relationship. And so when your brother tells you can't do something, there's nothing more you want to prove wrong than him. And so I started working on the business plan and I started working on the model of what I want it to look like. And I actually find a partner. I find a brewery that likes the idea, that wants to do it. And we start working up a contract and what it's going to look like as far as revenue sharing and things like that. And then on a whim, I take my wife to the airport one morning. I want to go to the Braves game later, so I go to Aaron's house, both between dropping her off at the airport and going to a Braves game. And we go and grab breakfast. And I sit with them and say, hey, this is what I've built out so far. I just want you to know, like, I'm not going to beat your ass in beer sales because I found a great partner. We're going to do this. And he looks it over. He says, all right, fine, let's do it. Do it with me. And I was like, okay. I mean, I, of course, would rather work with one of my best friends than anybody. So I called other people, let them know what decided. They're nothing but gracious and totally understood. We hadn't, signed anything, so there's no binding contracts. They wished me luck. And so we got started. That was the spring of 2022. And so I started working with the brewmaster on the brew, started working with myself, my brother, and a graphic designer on what I wanted the design to be and what I wanted it to feel like. And so we hit shelves for the first time in September of 2022. So we were able to kind of get it moving pretty fast.
So back up a second. I want to know a little bit more about working with the brewmaster and how you came to this recipe.
Yeah, and so this brewmaster, his name's Phil, and Phil is an award-winning brewmaster from Stillfire. I mean, he's won at the Great American Beer Festival and just a really great brewer. And I came to him kind of with what I wanted to do and the beer I wanted to make. And so he kind of got in the lab and started working on the beer. And we put it together. And so he kind of gave me a sample of about 4 or 5 different brews, and we went through them and kind of talked about different characteristics and tasting notes. And I really respected his opinion, in a lot of ways more than my own. But I kind of gave him some feedback, and he went to the drawing board. And so we came out with Peach State Light that way, just really trying to trust an expert instead of being the expert myself, knowing who an expert is and working with him. And so when he brought what is Peach State Light into the can and I tried it for the first time, I knew that was going to be it. I knew it was crushable enough, but still had enough taste and flavor profile to make, real beer heads also appreciate it. And so I feel like it kind of bridges the gap between a domestic beer drinker and a craft drinker. And that's what I want it to be. It's because, I can't, price wise, I'm not going to compete with Miller Lite that has such high volume that they can, charge so low on a beer. But quality wise, I can beat them. And that's something we can do because it's quality made, the production dates, and who's making it. And so that was kind of the whole premise of the business.
All right, so we're laying this down. It's December 23, so we're literally a year into since you first made it. But you said something early, and I brought this up and we joked about it. Didn't know what I was doing, don't know how to group, but you said something, and that is key for everybody. You stopped and started to build a business plan, and that's one of the things. If you listen to this podcast, that is so big for me because that helped me. Here I am, 15 years later, an overnight success. Definitely not a year into it.
With gout.
Yeah, and don't worry, I've got gout, and I'm on like 25 pills, but it doesn't matter. But so back to you. So you built that business plan. Did you have people look at that business plan other than that to develop it and roll it out?
Sure. I mean, I spoke first with my father and my uncle, who are successful business owners in their own right in Athens here with the body shop, and they have great business acumen. So I ran it through them. In my time at ESP, I was able to meet some really great business mentors. ESP is a really good nonprofit. And one of the ways is we run a lot of things like a business and the way we build and grow and develop. And so I was always encouraged from my executive director to have a mentor. And I always sought mentorship from business owners because that's what I've always been interested in. And so one of my best mentors is Michael Rips, who is the owner of Jittery Joe's Coffee, if you're familiar with that.
Great coffee shop. Yeah.
It's a great coffee shop and a great brand, and he's been a great mentor for me.
There you go. And think that's the part I wanted to take away. He built a business plan. He got good mentors to look at it. You're talking about Jittery Joe's, and so of course we're on the 15 continents that are in the world of
that's right
in the earth. I mean, we're everywhere, man. So we're big, but you don't have Jittery Joe's where you're at. Just think Starbucks. And so you're using a guy who developed, and he competed because Starbucks is out there, but he realized he can compete with them with a good brand, high quality coffee, and still charges the same per cup price, and has dominated the market and has actually forced Starbucks to the fringes in his local market. So great brand, good idea because you got somebody who's done this stuff before for you. That's awesome. Yeah. That's the stuff I think is just gold.
Well, and so we've got two things. We got a guy here with big balls, and he's got vision, the big balls, and he surrounds himself with great people. It doesn't sound like Jake has ever burnt a bridge. I mean, you got your college friends, you got your high school friends, you got your new business friend. I mean, he surrounds himself with great people.
He might be a good guy.
He might be a good guy.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe I just trick people for long enough to just stick with me.
Yeah, they probably feel sorry for you.
I like it. He's con. He's a total con the whole time. He's a grifter. Nah, I love this, man. Dude, this is awesome. All right. So usually we get a lot of people on who have been doing this for a while saying, hey guys, this is the bumps. These are the bruises. Here's where you've been at this for like a year and a half. So where are you at now? Is this a full-time gig? You still working in the body shop? This is a part-time?
So I've been blessed with the body shop to be able to stay on there. And right now I only work one full day a week on Peach State Light. So I hit the market once a week. I get in, try to meet people, try to sell. Of course, I'm at my desk at the body shop in free time, hammering away on emails and some marketing stuff. And at night I'm doing stuff and on weekends, but a truly, a day of the week. But then in January, I'm transitioning to 2 days a week on the beer and 3 days at the body shop just because we're growing. And that's really helped me with some sustainable growth, instead of
I'm pumped, bro. This is awesome.
Instead of this huge boom at once that's really sexy and fun, I'm really trying to lay down a good groundwork and be really quality for the customers I do have and show up for them and give a good product and show my face and build it methodically, which isn't my first nature. but like you said, the people I surround myself with and the way this business is starting, it's taught me to be more methodical and kind of slow myself down and move. And so I'll have a stronger foundation. And then the way the business is built. And so, for me personally, I do have the resource to be able to go to work with my family and make an income for me and my wife, which takes a huge burden off of it. And then for the where we brew, I mentioned Stillfire is one of the highest performing tap rooms in the state. So they're brewing beer regardless, and that's an operating business regardless. And so we just have to get in their schedule, but there's no, Stillfire is not begging me and saying, like, you got to sell more, you got to do everything to sell more because we need to put more guys to work. Like, they're busy, they're doing fine too. And so it's a really sustainable model where we can weather, December and January are typically slower for beer sales, and we can weather that without pulling our hair out because people have a strong foundation to grow.
So distribution in Georgia, I've always heard is a challenge. I mean, how are you navigating that? I mean,
Yeah,
I bought this 4-pack at Kroger. I was like, that's pretty awesome.
Dude, that's
yeah,
huge.
it is.
Huge.
It is. So your ability to do that, again, that's about partnership. Something I think I learned so much from working in the nonprofit world. We depended on partners, depended on local businesses, and I kind of took that forward. And so that partnership with Stillfire already works with a great distributor. And so Georgia is a 3-tier system for anybody at home. So I'll kind of explain that, how the 3 tiers work. There's a producer or the supplier. So that's the people that make the beer. That's Stillfire, that's Peach State Light, that's even things like Miller Lite, that's things like Terrapin and Creature Comforts, that's things like Jack Daniels. We're all suppliers. We can't sell our beer directly to consumer. I can't sell you Peach State Light directly to you guys unless, of course, you go to the brewery, and there's some laws there that make it a little accessible, but still there's a volume limit. You just can't really do it at scale legally. So there's distributors, and so we sell our beer to a distributor. Our distributor is United Distribution. They're one of the best distributors. I'll say they're the best distributor in the state. They have a huge portfolio. Sweetwater is one of their beers that they sell. Stillfire and Peach State Light, they sell. Jack Daniels whiskey. Um, I mean, the portfolio, if I show it to you, you would recognize 95% of their brands, and they do a great job of selling it. So they buy it from us. The distributor then sells it to on-premise accounts, which is restaurants, bars, golf courses, things like that, and also off-premise accounts, which is Kroger, convenience stores, independent liquor stores, and then that's where the consumer can then go and purchase Peach State Light. So those are the 3 tiers, and that's how it works.
Do you have to be exclusive? So to get into the business side of this, so you make it, you get with the distributor. Do you have to be exclusive with that distributor, or can you find another one?
So it depends on the distributor. Some distributors are like regional, and so they'll pop around. United, they're the big dog on the block, and they're statewide. And so once we sign that contract, we're not getting with any other distributors. United is our guys, and they're going to continue to be our guys through and through.
Right. And so the reason I bring that up is because United is the big dog in this stuff. I'm not an expert in this stuff, but I do know enough about it. So he got in with United, but they don't take you unless they think they can move it. Right. And so how did you convince them that you could move this?
I think vision casting, kind of having to. And I give a lot of credit to my partner at Stillfire, Aaron. He's a great businessman. But we had to work together and do some vision casting and show them who our intended market was, how we were going to do it. I already had accounts in my pocket ahead of time who had committed to being partners with us and buying our beer. Golden Pantry is the one I always brag on. Golden Pantry is a regional convenience store here in Northeast Georgia. Again,
When you say Golden Pantry, what do you think their tagline is? Like yours is the unofficial beer. What do you think Golden Pantry's tagline should be? Because I have it.
What is it?
The greasiest chicken you'll ever have.
Oh yeah, but golly, is it good? Those
It
biscuits.
is though, man. It is a
And you
greasy
need a
fried
crushable beer to wash it down.
Oh my
Yes.
god. Yeah.
And so, you talk about earlier, I never lose a connection once I make it. One of my high school best friends, his wonderful wife is the marketing director for Golden Pantry. And so she put me in contact with their team. And so with that connection and that commitment, I was able to go kind of to the table. I've lived in Athens almost my entire life, and I had a lot of bars and restaurants already committed to buying the product. And so I was able to go to United and say, hey, I've got a foothold already. We have a good base. Let's see what we can do. And they jumped on board.
Yeah, because that's a tough move. Anybody thinking about this biz, I just know enough to be dangerous in this and know enough to know that I'm never getting into it, just like I'll never get into a restaurant. I picked the handyman business, which is equally hard and absolutely skull crushing. And that's why after 15 years remodeling and actually have a branch out in Athens as well. But yeah, we started out there. I've been out there. And so we're really going to go after it this January. Here we are, December 23. So yeah, really starting to get a foothold out there. But back to that, United, you have to convince these guys because that's a big player nationally, not just in Georgia, just nationally. So you get in and you were able to make that. So that's a great play on your part and well done making those connections. Because I know a lot of people who have tried for years and years and years and can't get in.
Yep. Identifying, I think it's so important to identify the person you want to align with, the team you want to align with. And then making a convincing case on why they want to align with you too. And so it's been a great partnership so far.
So let's talk about marketing a little bit because I think one of the best things is I'm on your social media, watching your Insta and seeing what you guys are doing there and loving it. But I love the tag, the unofficial beer of Georgia. I just think there's something that so resonates with me. And I've seen you guys at tailgates. I see you at the now Georgia didn't get it done this year. Don't worry, my dogs. Don't worry. Don't worry. We're coming back. We'll be this team is not going away. Roll Tide, whatever. I hate elephants, by the way. You know what? If I ever go to the zoo again, I'm going to spit at the elephants.
I like that. I'll do that too. I'll join that pact.
Attaboy. So, how are you going to, what are you thinking about with marketing? Give us some of these ideas. What are some of those creative things that are jumping out of your head right now?
Yeah. I think with us, beer, there's only so many times you can show the label. There's only so many times you can tell them how good the beer is. There's, at the end of the day, beer, there's a lot of good beer out there. And so I want to sell a good beer, but it's a lifestyle brand. Peach State Light is absolutely a lifestyle idea and it's a lifestyle choice. And when you're buying Peach State Light, the unofficial beer of Georgia, our consumers saying, we don't want to buy a Miller Lite today. We don't want to buy a Bud Light. We want to buy what represents Georgians and what represents what we believe in and what makes our state special. And so the unofficial beer of Georgia, I knew no one could take that away from us. I didn't say official beer. Who's to say it's not unofficial? And so we just
and nobody can follow you up and say that again.
Dude, that's
right.
why I like
got it.
That's more irreverent. I'm telling you that I almost want to be the trusted toolbox, the unofficial the unofficial handyman of Georgia Bulldogs. I mean, seriously, I was just when I saw this, that's why I've been stalking the website. I was like, this is genius because I think it's hilarious. And for one group, but like you said, you got to identify your target market. And so let's talk about that for a minute before we go too crazy.
Well, it's not us, apparently.
No, we're not. We're too old. And
y'all are you guys are drinking it, having a good time. Y'all are 1,000% my target market.
Hey, here we go.
We're a lot older. We have a lot more friends.
And we have money.
Do you enjoy eating barbecue with your friends? Do you enjoy drinking too much beer? Do you enjoy watching the Dogs or the Braves or yes, you're the target market. Yeah.
I got to ask about this though. So along with being the unofficial beer of Georgia, and again, Jake's just got big balls right on the can. For more information, call Jake 706-461-1257. Where does that number go? What possessed you to do that? and tell me about some of the calls you've gotten.
So I've got the phone. It's in my bedroom right now, and you
want to stay married, right?
Yeah.
All right, good. Okay. We'll talk about that later, bro. All right, keep going.
I get some interesting calls, and if I'm tracking it, Thursday to Saturday is definitely the highest volume of calls.
Do you get the "I love you, man" calls like late at night? Okay.
And then
I knew it was coming. I knew it was coming.
You get the 8 to 10 p.m. where somebody's had the first one or two, and they're just genuinely curious, and they want to ask where it's from. They want to ask some pretty simple questions, or they'll text. People text the phone as well. From about midnight to 2 a.m. is when you just get the off the wall bonkers stuff. I just become people's friend. I'm just their drunk buddy. They get to call and say whatever is happening with their night. They'll let me know what's going on, and so we get some pretty wild calls and texts. Probably 15 to 20 a week so far.
So you are the brand ambassador, and so Alan brought it up, guys. If you're listening, you're driving in your car, you're going for that run, you're at the gym working out. Although I just confirmed, somebody said, "Do you listen to podcasts we work out?" I'm like, "No, bro. I gotta have music going if I'm gonna work out." I mean, I'm trying to get down. Anyway,
yeah.
So it says to solidly overweight.
Solidly overweight.
This is bullshit.
Such
by the
a
way.
good goal.
I mean, she looked at me. She literally said that. I know, but it's like, are you looking at me, lady? Anyway, okay, I'm digressing. For more info, call Jake 706-461-1257. Dude, I love that. I love that you put that out there because, again, unofficial beer of Georgia, and then this marketing ploy, those two marketing things, I think, honestly, dude, I'm like genius stuff. I love it. So were these your ideas or something you worked out with your mentors?
No, these were both kind of off the top of my head. I looked at the national Lone Star's slogan is the national beer of Texas, and so I've looked at some other slogans, and so it really is a nod to hearing great ideas from other things. I really try. When coming up with an idea, no idea is completely original. I think every idea is inspired by other good ideas, and it's filtered through your own lens and made uniquely your own. So that's where that came from. The phone number is a little different. That revelation came when I was really just getting started on the beer, on the design. I had a buddy who's from North Carolina. He called me, who lives here in Athens, and he knows that I've lived here forever. And so he calls, he says, "Hey, I know you're local, whatever. Who's a good tree guy? I need someone to come cut my tree down in my yard, whatever. It's going to fall over." I was like, "Yeah, I'll send you my buddy Seth's number. He owns a tree service, and it's a really successful tree service." And as soon as I said that, it dawned on me. I was like, people have these contacts. They know their handyman number. They know their car guy number. They know all these numbers for the resources for their day-to-day life. And so they share that with friends as referrals. So I was like, why don't I just become the beer man? And so when people need to talk about beer, they need beer help, they have my number. And so I just wanted to be a resource for them. And so it's really more of like a nod to small town Georgia, of just your community knows each other, and that's how you talk to each other.
So, guys, you're talking about marketing in any business you're in. Think about that off the wall marketing right there. Came off the top of his head, nod, unofficial beer. And I'm going to put my name and a phone number on there. It doesn't have to be your phone number, man. It can be a cell phone number.
But it's in his bedroom.
Yeah,
it's a second line.
Right.
So,
all right, dude. All right. We're going to talk about that, though, real quick. Right. So, Al and I have both been married for a long time. One of us successfully, one of us, it's anyway. But, dude, if you want to stay married, bro, that phone's got to get out of that fucking bedroom. You know what I'm saying? Okay. All right. All right. Huh? I'm just,
do you ever just
I'm not a
pick it
mentor
up?
yet.
Or...
I'm just telling you right now, dude, every once in a while, yeah, that phone's got
I got, do you actually just pick it up sometimes, or do you let it go to voicemail every time?
So a lot of times it goes to voicemail, but my favorite is when I've been imbibing in some of my own product or different products, the meta of two drunk people talking about beer on a beer hotline. It was just too much to
Chris,
pass
can you
up.
imagine you're drinking a beer, you're sitting in a bar, you see the
no
phone
way.
number, you call it, and then
No.
it's like, hey,
No,
this
no.
is Jake.
No, I'm gonna fix this right now. You're at University of Georgia. You're gonna hire a kid. His name is now gonna be Jake. Everybody answering that phone will be Jake, and you're telling him, "Hey, I'm gonna pay you. I don't give a shit. $10 an hour. It doesn't matter. But you're gonna answer the phone for the next 6 hours. And when they pick up the phone, they're gonna be Persona Jake. And it's gonna be you, dude. But it's gonna be like, here's what you're gonna tell them. Hey man, what's going on? Dude, I love you. Love this beer. We're just sitting out here having some barbecue at the around the fire pit. Really love this beer. Like, really, man, what else are you doing? And you just chat them up. And I want to hear about this because that's the story that legends are made of. And then you take that stuff and you put that stuff on social media, and it becomes a viral sensation. I mean, I'm not coaching here, but I'm like, dude, he's got to do this shit, right?
I love it. Yeah.
Oh,
It's
I
great.
love it. Yeah, but
Great.
you don't have to answer the phone all the time because again, if you want to stay married, it's that's the question.
So the next question is, does your wife ever pick it up and go, hey, this is Jake's wife?
She's picked it up. She has done that.
She has.
Dude, it would be better if she goes, this is Jake. Okay. So I'm hammered. So okay, I'll go with that.
Okay, yeah, close enough. Yeah.
Dude, this is awesome.
Yeah.
All right, man. So love the marketing. Now we got to get back business plan. Now let's talk about the biz. Where do you see this thing in 3 to 5 years? I mean, now you've been at it for a year. You're pretty excited still, right? If you're not, I am. I'm excited for you.
I'm very.
But I love the fact that you're pulling the methodical line, and I can't stress that one enough. Guys on social media, you're gonna see shit. Oh, I had $10 in my wallet, and the next thing you know, I was a billionaire, and I had my own jet, my own. No, guys, that's the unicorn. It takes forever. It's a long, slow process, and don't worry, guys. If you build it right, it will happen. If you build
it does, and that's something I've learned. You know, again, I've got a great partner. He's always a little more skeptical than I am from the start. You know, didn't even think it was a great idea, and so, which is really good for me because we're a good yin and yang. And you know, he was like, we were looking at the business you're in. He said, "Did you really imagine it was going to be this successful?" And I said, "Yeah, I thought it was. I thought it'd be even more successful than it is." And that's just not reality. What it is right now is what it's supposed to be. And so, years 3 through 5, you know, my goal is to be the #1 selling independent beer in the state of Georgia. I want to be the beer that is in people's fridge. I want to be people's fridge beer. I want to be their beer that they go to when they're going to a party, when they're cooking dinner, it's just I want it to be an everyday beer, not a special occasion beer. It's a beer that makes every occasion special.
So you're just 100% locked in on Peach State Light. You don't have visions of, you know, a couple of other different flavors or not. Chris is shaking his head.
You know, as a creative person, stuff comes in your head, but I have committed to laser focus until I hit that goal. And when we hit that goal, maybe we'll talk. But for now, I want to be the #1 selling beer in the state. And so independent beer.
So here's my problem. I started a handyman business. And when I first started, I would do anything to anybody at any time.
We've established the fact you were a fat whore.
I am a big obese whore. Thank you.
That's right.
Strivingly for a solidly overweight whore eventually. But what I've had to do over these years is simplify, because if you can simplify your business and you can bring it into a niche, the niches bring the riches. The simplification makes it all happen for you. And you want to go for it, right? You want to have 5 brands and you want to have, you know what? Screw this. I'm so smart. I'm going to have my own brewery. I'm going to have my own I'm going to have my own distribution and I'm going to do it. Dude, you're going to be so spread so thin that it's going to be so hard. I love what he's doing. And, you know, people ask me, you know, we do this exercise with my CEO group all the time. If you could start over, what would you do? Keep it simple, stupid, and stay right in your lane. And I love what he's doing.
Yeah, I mean, my brain's not big enough to handle multiple brands. I need one thing to think about, and it's made it a lot simpler and a lot more fun, frankly. And it's as far as messaging goes, it makes a lot more sense for our consumer. They're not expecting an IPA. They're not expecting a sour or a porter or a stout or these different stuff. They're just expecting a really easy, simple to drink beer. And that's kind of who I am, a simple person. And so it kind of works.
He's rocking the Good Wrench hat. I got to bring this up. If you don't watch us on YouTube, don't forget to go out there. We're on the YouTube channel. It's actually picking up a ton of likes lately and a lot of followers. Believe it or not, they want to look at us old white people talking. No, they really don't. They, I think they like all the people we bring on who all got a big head of hair. He's covering it up this one, but he's got the Good Wrench hat. And so when Jake, before he got on, we were like, dude, you're rocking old stuff. I'm like, I actually wore the black version of that hat when I was a kid. He goes, this is vintage. So NASCAR fan?
Yeah, I mean, enough.
Right.
I enjoy a NASCAR. I go. I was at Bristol for my future brother-in-law's bachelor party in this fall.
Oh, that's a good bachelor party.
Whoa, dude, that's one track I've never been to. So,
Man, cool.
I'm not a closet NASCAR fan. I've been to a lot of tracks, and I got a buddy who's really in the biz and really enjoy it. And nothing goes better together than drinking beer and watching NASCAR and throwing chicken bones.
There's no other sporting event in the country where you can bring in your own cooler of beer. And so once you get a ticket, you just bring in your own peach-shaped lights and you sit in the stands with your buddies and see cars going faster than any person ever imagined and drink it. It's so fun. It's such a great event.
Oh yeah, man. I can see Peach State Light all over that now. So we'll talk after this
we
after we're done with our podcast because I get
definitely intersect on interests as far as peach-shaped light NASCAR folks. So.
Yeah, love that. So I know you get the body shop, you're doing that with the fam, so you've got all that going on. Athens guy. So I love what you're doing. We've been talking about this over and over. You look back, you've been at it for a year and a half or so, and you look back on it. If you could go back a year and a half, I'm going to ask you the question we ask ourselves a lot, even 16 years into it. You start all over again. Which way would you have gone differently?
That's a good question. I think what I'm learning more and more is how important it is to have my feet on the pavement. And so I think I would have even spent more time connecting in person with buyers. Whenever I see a sales spike, it's right after I've spent time connecting with people who buy the beer.
That is a great gold nugget. A lot of people want to try a side hustle, or a lot of people want to think they're big time and, start a business. And perhaps they were a senior vice president at a large bank and they started a business and maybe they shouldn't be out there caulking a bathtub. But you know what? Every once in a while, you got to put your boot on the pavements. You got to do what you got to do, and you got to be out there and be in person to make it happen. But if you don't, like you said, just know that it's going to go a little slower. That's all right. And then especially in this case, because right now, guys, man, looking at this, all props, Jake. You're making it happen. I think everything's going to be solid. You just keep doing what you're doing, stay at it. So this has been awesome.
Yeah, unbelievable. So can you get it on tap in bars or?
Yeah, you can. And we've and that was something that we didn't do for the first year. We just started a couple months ago, but I really want people to get used to the packaging and start seeing it because I think it's part of what sells. But we do have it now on draft. And so if it's not already at your favorite establishment, if you're a true regular, any true regular should be able to request a beer that they want on draft. And so they can definitely get it on draft and it can be regular at any bar.
All right. So if I don't, we're going to get to the 4 questions in a minute. So if you're in Georgia, it's Peach State Light. We just told you it's at Kroger. We just told you it's at Golden Pantry, if you know what that is. But if I'm not there, can I get it if I'm in Oregon? Can I get it if I'm in Michigan?
Not yet.
All right, guys, start asking for it. I'll give you another little trick, and that came from Uncle Nearest.
That's right.
You start asking for it, and guess what? United, these guys aren't just Georgia, man. They're everywhere. You start asking for it, and they start asking their distributors for it, and that's what happens, man. That's how it pulls. So let's start doing it. You listen to this. You got to try this beer. I'm not kidding you guys. If you listen to us, you know that we drink a lot.
Well, and we
of everything.
We appreciate quality,
but we do. I mean, I'm a huge wine drinker. Love my bourbon, love my beer, but I will not drink crap. So This stuff's good stuff. I like it, man. So all props. This is good stuff. Go out there, figure it out. Peach State Light, the unofficial beer of Georgia. I love that. All right, let's get into our 4 questions, Jake. So first question, what is a book you'd recommend to our audience?
Probably my favorite business book is by the founder of Patagonia. And of course, I don't have a business like Patagonia, but it's a book called Let My People Go Surfing. And he just talks about workplace culture and the way he views business. He's a really far out guy with far out ways of thinking, but Let My People Go Surfing is one of my favorite business books I've ever read.
First time we've heard that.
It is
in 2 years.
And I love books like that because you read all the classic business books. I hate them. I like the story, Arthur Blank founding Home Depot and the beginnings of Starbucks and stuff like that. And I enjoy those real stories. That sounds like a good read.
Yeah, it really
Actually,
is.
I'm going to pick that up.
A lot of creativity out of me. And one day, if Peach State Light, as it grows and we have employees and these things, it excites me in the way to build a culture of people who want to continue to build a really cool business together.
Yeah, that's actually floored me. I can't even think of my next question because I'm sitting there going, I think I'm going to pick that up on Audible just to
I think you would enjoy it, especially from knowing you guys just through this. I think you guys would both really enjoy what it has to say.
All right, so what's the favorite feature of your house? Because I'm in home remodeling.
Line 2.
Line to that phone. I know, right? Dude, I want to be Jake for a night. Actually, I want you to forward that phone to me for one
Jake,
night.
can we come hang out with you and we just answer the phone?
Actually, I'm going to volunteer for that. I want to be Jake for a night.
Hey,
this is Jake.
We'll split every other weekend between ourselves. We'll just pass it around.
Dude, I'm so in. All right, favorite feature of your home?
Really, it's our location. Where we are, we're in Boulevard. We're walkable to downtown Athens. We're walkable to a great neighborhood of bars and restaurants. I know every one of my neighbors' names. I have dinner with them. I drink beer with them. My neighbors are great friends. What's really funny is I live on a train track here in town, and on the other side of the train track, you can smell beer, and it's Creature Comforts production facility. And so Classic City Lager is a huge, they're the big dog in my market and what I'm going for. And so I get to get a kick in the butt every day because I know they're making a shit ton of Classic City Lager. So
if we've established one thing early on, when somebody tells you no or sticks their thumb in your face, the one thing you're going to do is you're going to come back after them. So I love that because you got to have tenacity as an entrepreneur. I didn't bring that up earlier, but one thing you can tell, Jake, he's kind of laid back. If you can't get that vibe off the podcast, he has that laid back vibe, but he definitely told you he's got that entrepreneurial fire and spirit in him. So
you gotta have a little killer instinct in you too. So
let's go, big dog. Let's go. I love that. All right. So one of the things that we're really interested in, and we are freaks about, is we are customer service.
He kind of blew that line.
Didn't I?
Yeah. Start over.
All right. So let me try this again.
Yeah.
Cut. Go back. Rewind. What? No. Hey, don't worry. I'm Jake from Peach State Light. So we love customer service. When we go out there, we love to be served because we are customer service
freaks.
Thank you. I blew it. All right. We're back to it. What is a customer service pet peeve of yours?
When you're the customer.
Yeah, no, it is. My wife actually laughs at me all the time. There's this great story. I was at a convenience store and I was picking up like soda or something. And I was talking to my wife on the phone, and I'm pretty sure I've seen this guy so many times at the convenience store that I know that he owned the convenience store. And he was just being rude. And he was like not being helpful. Like, I'm on the phone, and that's okay because I'm a paying customer who's trying to deal with something else and pay you money for a service. And he was being rude. And I stopped and I said, "Why are you being rude to me right now?" And he was like taken aback by it. He said, "I'm sorry, I've just had a bad day." I said, "No problem." But it drives me nuts when you're getting service and they act like they're mad at you for being there. It drives me absolutely insane. And so I I don't know if that's what drives me crazy.
I think that's going to be the hard part with you as the producer through the distributor too. The person ultimately giving that beer to that person in front of them, that's going to make the impression on the individual, not necessarily a taste. I think that's, for me, that's the thing. As I love it because
scary.
I think that's definitely a big wild card. Even in my world, having to work in people's houses, it's hard because people are freaking crazy. But I'm working in their house, but I can control the customer experience through training and getting my guys to know how to do things. But in this case, somebody hands him a beer, and if they're a total dork, you're gonna go, you know what? I don't like this beer.
Right.
Mm.
I don't like that.
And I can call him at that number.
You know what? That's why I want to answer that phone, because I'm like, what happened? Hey, this guy was rude. What was he? What was his name? I'll find him.
Yeah.
And
don't
we'll
worry.
find him.
This is not Jake. This is Jake's cousin, Chris Lalamia. I'm going to slash your tires. How can I help you?
Uncle Tony from Italy is coming to go talk to you. Huh?
Uncle Tony.
Don't worry about it. Huh? Tommy Cutlets. Don't worry about it. Huh? Yeah, it's all right. Fangu, I can take care of you. Okay. All right. Last one. What is a DIY nightmare story? Again, love this stuff. We're talking fire, dismemberment, flooding,
emergency services.
Yeah.
Like
cars slipping over into houses. I didn't tell you that one.
Mm.
Yeah.
A DIY horror story?
Yeah.
I've gotten handier as I've gotten older, but I've always just assumed I can do it. And so there's this really great story of when I was working at ESP, me and one of my coworkers who's now, her and her husband, they were some of our best friends, but we were just hanging photos, and it was like 4 photos, and they're supposed to be all symmetrical. I was 24, and I just like knew I could get it right. And so if you ever go to ESP in Watkinsville, there's a certain wall that if you look under where these photos are, there's no less than 25 holes in the wall where I was just putting nails in awful, and it didn't make any sense.
I love that.
Yeah.
Now, it wasn't flooding. It wasn't fire. It wasn't dismemberment. He may have hit a plumbing pipe that he doesn't know about, but that won't happen for a while, especially if the nail's set. But it is hilarious. We have done a lot of that where you pick up pictures for people and you go look and they're like, hey, we just need to fix up the wall. And you look behind it. You're like, how many times did you try to?
Yeah. How many? Yeah.
I'm like, yeah. I mean, there's more nails behind this thing. It looks like somebody took a little pin shotgun and went. I'm like, oh,
I've been very guilty of that myself. So
that's awesome. Jake, how can everybody else find out about you? I know you're in Georgia local, but let's get those deets out there.
They can buy a beer and they can call them at this number.
706-461-1257. 706-461-1257. You're going to get Jake. And here's the deal. Even if you call and this voice sounds like this guy, my name's Jake.
It's Jake. We're all Jake.
Everybody's Jake. We're going to take care of you.
So, PeachStateLight.com, Jake at PeachStateLight.com. Couple of exciting things in the new year. You guys, this is our new can. You have a little different can than I do. So if you look at your can, it's a label. We've hit a volume number where we've been able to get true painted cans. And so there's a more of a metallic look on it if you see it.
Yeah.
Don't worry. The number's still there. The things are still there, but we did update it. The recipe I've even tweaked recently and made it even more crushable. And that's all going to start kind of coming through the pipeline at the first of the year. But yeah, PeachStateLight.com is a great way to reach me.
It's even more crushable than this, Chris.
Let's go.
Hey, so Jake, I got a quick question. I just texted a picture of the beer and you on our laptop to my son, and he goes, I want the sweatshirt that Jake's wearing. Is that for sale?
Yeah, it's for sale on our website. And this is you talk about throwbacks. I think the impression from the 90s is so strong on me. I was born in 91, so my eyes were open. I was the youngest of 4, so I was doing what my older siblings were doing. But obviously, this is a Dell Earnhardt nod, and this is a nod to the '96 Olympics.
I thought it looked kind of like that.
Yeah, and so that's that Olympic flame and that same color scheme. But I was so influenced by that time period, and the things that I still find aesthetically attractive are straight from the '90s, and I kind of dress like that still. So it is on the website, and he should definitely pick one up.
All right, go out
Sounds
there,
like
get some merch from the website.
Sounds like you got a sale.
Love it. All right. If you didn't learn something today, that's not on me. And if you aren't drinking some Peach State Light, that's on you. You move to Georgia because we are the land of the free and we got one of the best governors ever. We're making it happen here. We got an awesome business, but this was been awesome. If you haven't learned some stuff off this, marketing, figuring out how to business, he's a year into this thing and he's already starting to crush it.
Relationships,
mentors, balls. We are making it happen.
3 balls.
I'm sorry. I was giving an extra ball because I'm excited, man. This guy's humping me up.
He might have 3.
He might because he is Jake at Peach State Light. We're out of here. We got to go. I got to drink more beer.
Cheers, fellas.
Cheers.
Cheers.